Hi, I'm Kate Ward, and this is your Dickman Farms Smart Gardening Tip. And today we're talking about bugs and fungicide and funguses and all sorts of fun stuff. So that said, I've collected some things so that people can see what is a fungus, what is a disease, why do I even care about it? Well, it's just like you getting a cold. May not kill the plant, but it's going to slow you down. And the plant might look a little unsightly. I have a hosta leaf here, and this has got a little bit of a ring spot on it. Here I have powdery mildew. Powdery mildew is very common. There's another one. So you can see it just doesn't look right. It does cause some damage to the plant. So how do we know when we need to take care of it, get after it? Well, if it's causing significant damage onto your plants, then you have to get after it. Powdery mildew, which is a wonderful year for that plant, it actually likes it dry like it has been with some humidity, so it's been perfect for that. Powdery mildew, you see things on phlox. That's a very common one. It gets on magnolias, it gets on trees and shrubs, and it doesn't care. It's not very specific. One of the things you can see is, well, what do I know? It's called powdery mildew because it looks powdery. Now I have a piece of a plant here underneath our microscope here that we have at the garden center to help us tell what you have. And on my big screen here, you can see in the screen, it looks powdery. It looks like somebody's put confectioner sugar on it. It's very specific, and it's not specific to plant. So it's very specific looking. You can see it on the counter. That's how you know you have it. The other thing that we see is this powdery mildew. The other thing you see this time of year is you see this plant here, and it's got rust on it. It's called rust for a very obvious reason. It looks like it's rusty. So we see that again, and if we look up underneath our microscope again, if we put it under here and see, you can see these little ring spots. It's something that you can almost see with the naked eye, but it's easy to see here, and it causes these little growth lesions, and overall, as you can see by the leaf here, it's causing this brown edging. So these are things that we want to stay paying attention and taking care of. The other thing I'll show you that's showing up, and I said our bugs, this is going to be our most obvious culprit this year. These are spider mites. And let's look in the camera here. See this tiny little thing? Spiders get a bad name. These guys aren't actually spiders, but they're a little mite, and they form some webbing when they get really bad. Well, the problem with spider mites, and we can see here by looking at this leaf that I have here, it looks kind of whitish overall. That's because spider mites have a little mouth part that's like a straw, and they stick their mouth part into that, and then they take a drink. So these are some things to be on the lookout for. Now, people will see spider mites coming out this year. It's a wonderful year from the hot and dry, so how do we take care of them? Well, in a rainy year, spider mites, for instance, aren't as bad, but it's not a rainy year. It's super dry this year, so we do need to get after them. Those populations can get out of control, and how do we do that? With insecticides or fungicide if it's a disease, but make sure you know what you have before you're treating. You have to use the right thing to treat the right thing. If you go ahead and just spray, I have this chemical and I sprayed it out there, well, great, but you might not have cured what you were in to cure for, so you want to make sure you have it. So if you have diseases on your plants, you want to use a disease control. There's two types. There's a systemic, getting into the system, and there's a topical. It's what's on the system. They both work. They'll be great. Just make sure they're labeled for what you have. So I said I had powdery mildew and rust. When I turn this around on this particular product to see what I have, it'll tell me. I can read more about it, find my plant, find my problem, and find my dosage and take care of it. That's how that works. These are concentrates. They need to be mixed. Well, maybe you have something that just needs a little bit of it. So for instance, I have spider mites and powdery mildew on a couple of things. I can use something like this neem oil. Neem oil has a fungicide, a miticide, because I have mites, and insecticide. So this would work for what I need it to do. Maybe I only have mites. Well, perfect. This is an insecticide for just that. So it's been a really brief introduction on a couple things you're going to see out there, how to find out that you have the right product. If you're not sure, I have a microscope, we have a mirror, we have a solutions center, and we can do that for you. So until we see you again, this has been your Dickman Farms Smart Gardening Tip.